Hey everybody, welcome back. And I have recorded this video probably 4 or 5 times now and having an issue with how to word it because I'm having a lot of questions that don't have a lot of answers to the situation that I see in front of me. And what happened was is this got put into my feed. It looks like this has been happening for quite a while, but there is a car collecting investment app out there. And there's a lot of questions that I have about it and its profitability, for lack of a better phrase. And I'm not calling it a scam, but I do have a lot of questions. I do like the idea because we're talking about cars, but I have a lot of financial questions. And if you're not familiar, let's kind of dive in, and hopefully maybe some of these questions will be answered for you, maybe not. Maybe it'll raise more questions than it will answer. But basically, there's a company called Rally Road. They are a collector car investment app, and they just opened a storefront, a brick and mortar store. Okay, so keep that in mind. A brick and mortar store for an investment into the potential of a car, okay, the potential value of the car. So you can buy $40 of whatever your favorite car is, whatever they own, assuming they own it, right? But there's a lot of questions as I keep going through this. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and hopefully maybe one of you can explain it to me how this actually works, because it doesn't feel like an investment that is going to pay off. But anyway, here's how it works. You download the app, you find out what sort of vehicles are available, and then you pay based on per share of the vehicle, based on, of course, whatever value they decide to put on it. Now, I've seen reports of them having a 7-Up notchback Mustang that they claimed was worth like $85,000. I have questions about the valuation on that one, but let's kind of keep going. And there's no timeshare provision of this, which is again a question. Why would you invest in something that you can't enjoy? I am one of those people that if I buy into a car, I want to enjoy it. I want to go out in my garage. I want to look at it. I want to fiddle with it. I want to clean it. I want to go out and drive it and maybe have a good time with it, take the wife out on a nice date, be seen, car culture stuff. And in this case, basically they don't. And what they did is they opened up a storefront and to sell merchandise with the Lamborghini just kind of sitting in the middle there, as you can see. So there's no timeshare provisions, as you can see here. There's plans to let investors drive similar cars, which means that you're not going to get to drive it. There are two co-founders here, and let's see. This may play into the company's larger goal of providing premium access to IPOs, super rare cars, so maybe they can take rich people's money. I don't know. The whole concept to me feels not quite there yet. Okay, first car they offered was an M3 that was $141,000. Okay, it seems a bit on the high side. An 80 Lamborghini Countach at $635,000. That's $127 a share. I'm not so sure, but what kind of worries me the most is this thing right here that I found on Yahoo News, which was written 4 or 5 months ago. It's a digital company. They've got $7 million in startup. They claim to have a 55 Porsche Speedster. Okay, there's some value there. But again, here's how it works. After each car has been fully funded, it opens up for a day-long secondary trading period every 30 to 60 days. That's not how normal stock works. You buy it and then you can sell it whenever you want at a loss or whatever. Then they say that the trading on that Lamborghini that I just showed you launched Tuesday with the vehicle's value climbing 5%, to $71 a share. Again, I have questions about how their math works. And here's the big thing for me. Riley wrote, and this was only written in a couple months ago, not profitable, but intends to operate its collection profitably eventually, keyword eventually, through sponsorships. Good luck with that. Monetized media around the assets. Again, good luck with that. That's tough. Events and merchandise. Okay, there's only so many t-shirts and hats you can sell to pay all the people around you. Premium tier will also be added in the coming year to provide users with access to additional as yet unannounced experimental components of the platform. So meaning people with more money, they're gonna try and do that. Okay. The other issue that I have questions with is who owns the car, and I did find information that the LLC owns the car, meaning you don't own it. You don't technically own the car itself, but this raises more questions for me. And the questions that get raised are who pays for all the ancillary things. Okay, they talk about in here about how they don't have fees for anything. There's no brokerage fees, there's no storage fees, there's no insurance, that sort of thing. So you don't own the car. You pay money to buy shares of the car with the hope that somebody else will then want to buy more of it at some point. And that's a big if, right? They're claiming 50,000 users at this point. But I understand that people do this with wine and with art and a couple other things. But the thing is with art and wine, you don't have the storage cost isn't nearly as high as it would be on one of these really expensive vehicles, okay? And it feels to me as if they're trying to bank on people's, Barrett Jackson effect, where suddenly one car goes for a lot of money, people don't quite understand the market, and then expect their, investment to, go crazy because, or, one of their cars because they saw something similar go for crazy money at Barrett Jackson. So it feels as if they're trying to ride this wave. And one of the things that a couple of the owners have said, well, the last 10 years for car market has been great. Well, again, go back 2 more years. The car market was absolutely abysmal. So yeah, 10 years ago, 2009, when the crash hit and everybody's, liquid assets kind of went down the tubes, car market also went down the tubes as well. So to say that, that's proof that car market is on the up and up and just keep going up and won't ever stop is, I think, a bit short-sighted and a bit disingenuous. But again, this brings up more questions than it does answers. Follow the money, okay? Follow the fine print. And for me, I have a hard time understanding where the money is going and how money is being made. So if they're just going to own some cars and let you buy stock in it, and they said there's no fees to this, there's no there's no insurance cost. Who's going to house it? Right now, they're saying that they're in this climate-controlled environment, but okay, what about when the car breaks? And there are some things that break just by sitting. Some cars just need to be driven, and some cars need a fair amount of maintenance. So for example, there are some cars that have time-sensitive parts to them. I know the McLaren P1 and a couple of the Ferraris have, for example, fuel bladders that need to be replaced every so often to the tune of multi-thousands of dollars. By specialty mechanics and stuff like that. And I read in an article once that they claim that they did have somebody who was going to maintain this fleet of cars that they're looking to have. But again, who pays that person? And where does that money come from? It can't come from t-shirts and hats. You can't sell enough to pay somebody of that caliber's salary, okay? And here's the part where, again, raises more questions about, is this another crypto situation? Again, I don't know. I don't know these folks, but something doesn't seem 100% on the up and up. To be clear, the firm is full of crypto fans. All 3 founders, including their chief financial officer, own some sort of cryptocurrency. Well, okay. They were forced to confine all the talk of digital currency to the 10 minutes between 10:50 and 11 a.m., though it was not the peak of crypto mania last year. And currently, neither is crypto at the moment. Okay, and a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out, folks. Okay, and this is kind of what it feels like a little bit. They claim they have 50,000 investors and 12 cars, which they claim is an aggregate of $3 million. But again, if it's stock, they don't own that money. The money has to come from somewhere else. So who pays their salary? Right now they're running off investment, but again, that's going to run out at some point. And how are they going to be sustainable? That's the issue. And I'm having a hard time when they say they don't charge fees, they don't charge brokerage fees, and they don't charge some sort of upkeep to it before this. So I have a real healthy skepticism with this, this notion that they're going to be selling parts of cars. It doesn't seem, something doesn't click with me. So here are some of the comments, called backfire, of course, right? Thought it was pretty good. So here's what other people are saying, right? Anyone considering this boondoggle will be served carefully to read the fine print. Yes, I agree. Read the fine print of everything, not just this, but other things. If you're going to invest in this, make sure you know what you're getting into. And 50,000 buyers currently doesn't give me a lot of promise or a lot of hope that when it comes time to sell my investment in something I don't own or touch or anything like that, it's not a company that creates anything. It has me concerned. Okay, somebody says I would treat this like gambling. Yep, well, so is the stock market. That's also similar to gambling as well. Somebody says, if you ask me, any stock is a gamble. Sure, no problem. No company has made money, increased its value indefinitely. This is true. I mean, there's a cap to this. But again, you invest in a company, you expect them to make products, you expect them to, like the blue chip stocks, Coke, Pepsi, Apple, that sort of thing. You just kind of expect them to be there, and you kind of put your money there because it's stable. Car markets aren't stable. That's the issue. Nobody buys a car. When you buy a car, you don't buy it for the investment. At least I don't. I buy it knowing that it's going to depreciate the second I get my grubby little hands on it. And for me, the issue comes with, this notion that cars will continue to gain in value regardless of market forces. And I don't think that's accurate. I think that's a bit of a concern. So somebody says, screams scam as much as the Fire Festival did. Okay, that's what somebody says. That's a scam for sure. A shop in Soho seals the deal, except this will probably be legal and not fraud because it's investing, and that's what they're going to call it anyway. So, okay, fair enough. Stick to stocks. Right, okay, so sounds like a Ponzi scheme. All right. I'm not so sure. Again, so yeah, somebody here wrote no commissions for fees. Who's footing the bill for storage, insurance, costs on these cars? It's not like buying stock where this is a physical object that needs to be cared for and looked after. Who's going to clean it? Who's going to maintain it? Who's going to put gas in it? Who's going to make sure it runs and drives? And, again, I have more questions than I think they're able to answer at this point. Too soon to tell, I think. If folks are going to get their money back or not, we'll kind of have to wait and see how it goes. But again, maybe you can tell me in the comments. Let me know below what you think of the situation going on here. Again, skeptical of the situation, but only time will tell. Maybe I'll be wrong. That'll be cool. And if I'm not, then chips will kind of have to fall where they may. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks a lot, and check you later.